Palestinian health officials say more than 50 people were killed following an Israeli airstrike on a refugee camp in northern Gaza. Hamas says 7 hostages, including 3 foreign passport holders, are among the dead. But with many still believed to be trapped under the rubble, there are fears the death toll may rise.
A desperate search for signs of life after an Israeli strike unleashed carnage at this refugee camp in Gaza. Home to more than 100,000 people, the Jabalia camp is one of the largest of its kind in the territory, housing families of refugees from wars dating back to 1948. Now where apartment blocks once stood are gaping craters. Israel has labelled the site as a central Hamas stronghold, and it released footage of its missiles hitting the target, which it says killed not only dozens of Hamas combatants, but also a key commander believed to have played a pivotal role in the October 7th attack against Israel.
חיסלנו הערב את המחבל המרצח איברהים ביארי. ביארי הוא מוביל הלחימה המרכזי בצפון הרצועה מאז כניסת כוחות צה"ל לעזה. יש לו גם חלק בטבח ב7 באוקטובר.
The attack has prompted swift backlash, with Saudi Arabia, Egypt and Qatar among countries voicing strong condemnation against the strike. Hamas has denied that any commander was in the camp, denouncing Israel's claim as a pretext for killing civilians. The attack on the camp is adding fuel to fears that hospitals across Gaza could be targeted next. Israel has already accused Hamas of using some medical facilities as a shield for their military operations, while many hospitals in the besieged enclave are stretched, with food, fuel and basic supplies running especially scarce. And with corridors virtually overrun with patients, doctors say they are increasingly at a loss on what to do.
الإصابات اللي أجت علينا بعد الانفجار الكبير اللي هز كل معسكر جباليا، مئات الجرحى ومئات الشهداء في بيوتهم آمنين، في بيوتهم تم قصفهم جميعا، في بيوتهم آمنين، أطفال كلهم شهداء، أطفال وشيوخ ونساء. يعني نحن مش عارفين عم كل الدنيا إصابات، نقف معها كلهم الشباب المتطوعين كلهم نزلوا شدوا ايدهم على بعض عشان بس يساعدوا الناس.
The World Health Organization warns of a public health catastrophe on the horizon, saying that just a third of primary care facilities in Gaza are still fully functioning, while the rest are running under reduced services to cope with the mounting number of casualties.
But Tuesday's strike on the refugee camp is just one of the latest in a barrage of bombardments by Israel in response to the Hamas attack on October the 7th. The IDF's land and airstrikes have caused extensive damage across the Gaza Strip. Analysts say that Israel's current bombing campaign is poised to be one of the most intense of the 21st century. The strikes have been they've damaged or destroyed between 38,200 to 44,500 buildings across the Strip since the beginning of this war. And that's not counting the strike on the Jabalia refugee camp. And while wide swathes of Gaza City and the surrounding areas have been ravaged, much of the destruction is concentrated in the north of the enclave. Now, satellite imagery shows at least a quarter of all buildings in northern Gaza in ruins. And even as Israel renews its warnings for civilians in the Strip to evacuate southwards away from the north, Israel has continued to strike southern Gaza. The IDF appears to be approaching the Palestinian enclave from at least 3 sides. Now, lines of armoured vehicles have been advancing from Gaza's northern border near the coast of the Mediterranean Sea, as well as near Bet Hanun. That's on the northeast edge of the Gaza Strip. Now, that area has already been significantly damaged by airstrikes. Troops are also taking up positions near a major road that's further south along Salah al-Din. That's Gaza's main north-south road. Palestinian health officials say that more than 8,700 people have been killed in Gaza in the last 3 weeks, as Israel's strikes show no signs of stopping.